Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jules, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my February TBR. How is it already February? Okay, so the first thing I want to start with is readathons because I have two of them coming up really quick. The first one starts this Thursday. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called the X's and O's Readathon. It is hosted by Jess over at Reading with Jess. She actually has some co-hosts. So this is the second year they've done this. I did the one last year, and it was really fun. So they have different teams, and based on which team you choose to be on versus X's or O's, you have different reading prompts based on that. This year, they have 3 teams, so there's an X's and O's and then a double agent. So the X team is going to be, the co-host of X team is Jordan at Sorry Book Solid and Lena at Lena's Bookshelf. And then the host of Team O is Gwen at Gwendolyn Kinzinger and Summer at Seasons Readings. So I will tag everybody's channels below so that you can check them out. And then the double agent team is going to be Jess, who is our main host at Reading with Jess. So I have chosen to be a double agent mainly because I liked some of the prompts from X and some from O, which they combine those together. That's what the double agent is. It's a little of both. And its color was purple. So I love purple. So I chose that team. So I am going to tell you my prompts and show you what I'm reading for that. So the double agent prompts is going to be purple on the cover. So let me back up a second. There are 4 prompts. I doubled up on the prompts. I picked 3 books out. I may only read 2 of them, but 2 of them will work for all the prompts. So 2 of the prompts work together. It was your second shelf on your bookshelf and the 14th book over. And that book that I picked out happened to be Neon Gods. And it also works for purple on the cover. So this is what I am going to use for both of those prompts. Society darling Persephone Demetrio plans to escape the ultra-modern city of Olympus and start over far from the backstabbing politics of the 13 houses. But all that's ripped away when her mother ambushes her with an engagement to Zeus, the dangerous power behind their glittering city's dark facade. With no options left, Persephone flees to the forbidden Undercity and makes a devil's bargain with a man she once believed a myth, a man who awakens her to a world she never knew existed. Hades has spent his life in shadows, and he has no intention of stepping into the light. But when he finds that Persephone can offer a little slice of the revenge he spent years craving, it's all the excuse he needs to help her, for a price. Yet every breathless night spent tangled together has given Hades a taste of Persephone, and he'll go to war with Olympus itself to keep her close. Sounds amazing. I love a good gods book. So I don't know if anybody else is into all the gods, and it sounds like this is going to be a little spicy. I'm here for it. So the next 2 prompts are actually romance, suspense, and flowers on the cover. So the next book I have would work for both, but I do have a 3rd book in case I do well with all my reading. So I have Never Never by Colleen Hoover. It could work for it is a romantic suspense and also has flowers. But I do have another one for flowers that I'm going to try and get to. I really, really want to get to that one. But this says, Charlize Winwood and Silas Nash have been best friends since they could walk. They've been in love since the age of 14. But as of this morning, they are complete strangers. Their first kiss, their first fight, the moment they fell in love, every memory has vanished. Now Charlie and Silas must work together to uncover the truth about what happened to them and why. But the more they learn about the couple they used to be, the more they question why they were ever together to begin with. Forgetting is terrifying, but remembering might be worse. Seems suspenseful to me. This is what I'm using for that prompt. And then the 3rd book that I have for this, so this readathon goes from February 1st through the 5th. So there's 5 days worth. And I have the weekend. So depending on how busy I do or don't get over the weekend, I very well could easily get 3 books read for this readathon. But I don't want to be too ambitious. That's why I didn't do 4 books, because I have a habit of putting all these, doing a book for every single prompt, and then I don't get them all read. So this, I may or may not get to this, but this one is going to be Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This is actually the second book in this series, the first book being Belladonna, which made my top 15 books of the year. Go check out that video if you want some information on that. So obviously, flowers on the cover. A duke has been murdered, the Lord of Thorngrove has been framed, and Fate, the elusive brother of Death, has taken up residence in a sumptuous palace nearby. Death is the first book, is what it gets her connection with Death in the first book. So now we have Fate, who's making his way into the scene. He's hell-bent on revenge after Death took the life of the woman he loved many years ago, and now he's determined to have Cigna for himself no matter the cost. Cigna and her cousin Blythe are certain that Fate can save Elijah Hawthorne from wrongful imprisonment if the girls will entertain Fate's presence. But the more time they spend with him, the more frightening their reality becomes as Cigna exhibits dramatic new powers that link her to Fate's past. With mysteries and danger around every corner, the cousins must decide whom they can trust as they navigate their futures in high society, unravel the murders that haunt their family, and play Fate's unexpected games, all with their destinies hanging in the balance. Daring, suspenseful, and seductive, this sequel to Death and Cigna's story is as utterly romantic as it is perfectly deadly. Love it. And I match it. So these are my picks for the X's and O's readathon. I am going to vlog this, so stay tuned for that. I will link Jess's announcement video for that. All of the girls have their own announcement videos for it, so if you want more information on any of them, you can go to any of their channels and find that. There is a Discord for it, and it will have, there's lots of cute graphics. We have chats in there. There's going to be a movie night, all kinds of fun stuff. Great way to start off February if you're interested in joining. There's no fee for it. It is open to whoever wants to join. Now, my second readathon that I'm going to do is part of Liv's Patreon. So this is only if you are in her Patreon. I will link Liv's channel as well. And it is going to be a weekend romance readathon. It's only 3 days. It is on the weekend, and I don't know how I'm going to get to all these books, but I may or may not. So I don't have a copy of the first one yet. It's ready at the library, but I haven't picked it up yet. And that is going to be Josh's and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. That is going to be for my prompt. Let me get my prompts out, guys. Okay, I'm back. So the first book that I'm going to be reading could be for all of the prompts. So we have Pink or Red on the cover, Friends to Lovers Romance, and Book That Gives You Fuzzy Feelings. I don't know, I'm assuming most romance books give you fuzzy feelings, but anyway. So Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating is going to be my pick for Friends to Lovers Romance. Hazel knows she's a lot to take, and frankly, most men aren't up to the challenge. If her army of pets and thrill for the absurd don't send them running, her lack of filter means she'll say exactly the wrong thing in a delicate moment. Their loss. She's a good soul in search of an honest fun. Josh has known Hazel since college, where her zany playfulness proved completely incompatible with his mellow restraint. From the first night they met, when she gracefully threw up on his shoes, to when she sent him an unintelligible email while in a post-surgical haze, Josh has always thought of Hazel more as a spectacle than a peer. Now, 10 years later, after a cheating girlfriend has turned his life upside down, going out with Hazel is a breath of fresh air. Not that Josh and Hazel date, at least not each other, because setting each other up on progressively terrible double-blind dates means that there's nothing between them, right? So basically, they're setting each other up with other dates and going out on these dates. So they're dating, just not each other, but they're going on dates with other people. And then, obviously, you know. So, this sounds fun. I hope I like it. So I'm going to start with that one. Depending on what I get done, that may be my book for the whole since it's just a weekend. If that's the only one I get to, it has Pink or Red on the cover. It's the Friends to Lovers Romance, and surely it'll give me fuzzies. But if I have time, I'm going to pick up Bared Souls. I saw this on TikTok. TikTok made me buy this. So I know nothing about this author. Ellie Wade, it says USA Today bestselling author. I saw a TikTok of it. I love the way she packaged it. It's beautiful. There's like 5 or 6 in the series, and all of them are beautiful. So again, a beautiful cover. I'm picking it up. So it says, Alma point of view, he told me that he'd destroy me. I know he wasn't lying, and I loved him anyway. I believed in love, in him. I just wasn't prepared to carry the weight of his demons. I wanted forever with him, but life showed me love was temporary and forever was a dream. Despite everything that happened, even now, I wouldn't change any of it. Leo. I warned her that I'd ruin her. I knew that I'd taint her innocence with my bad intentions. I was weak. She was perfection. I was nothing. The truth is that I loved her, and I selfishly wanted to hold on to her, to the man she had made me, to the life we could have. I wanted to dance with her in the light, despite knowing that the darkness would find me anyway. Heartbreak was inevitable. Yet I held on to the sliver of hope that I was wrong, that love really was enough. This sounds like it's going to be a hot mess express. And I'm here for it. So stay tuned if you want to know what this is about. I am also going to vlog this readathon as well. And then, so those are the 2 books that I plan to get to for that for that readathon. But if I have time, I may start to reread Happy Place. Only because I love this book. I read it once, but I did not have a chance to tab it. So this is definitely a book that would give me the fuzzy feelings of everything about love. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So this is just a backup. I already read this. Again, this is in my top 15. If you want to go hear about it, go check out my best books of 2023. But yeah, so if I have time, I will do that. If not, so I have this and Josh and Hazel's guide. That's at my library. I got to go pick it up. So that is my only 2 readathons I have planned for. X's and O's is first, and then my weekend romance readathon is from February 9th through the 11th, and I will be vlogging both of those. And next I'm going to talk about is my buddy reads for my Patreons that I'm on. So that is going to be Kendall and Liv's. We picked the same book, so it's actually helping me. It is called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I am not planning on getting this like physically. I'm going to either I'll probably do it on my Kindle and audio if I can find them available. So this is the first in a trilogy. Says, she is the very thing he has spent his whole life hunting. He is the very thing she spent her whole life pretending to be. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Isla. I don't know if that's how you say that. I don't know. The exceptional and empowered the elites. The power these elites have possessed for decades were graciously gifted to them by the plague, though not all were fortunate enough to both survive the sickness and reap the reward. Those born ordinary are just that, ordinary. And when the king decrees that all ordinaries be banished in order to preserve his elite society, lacking in ability suddenly became a crime, making Peyton Gray a felon by fate and a thief by necessity. Surviving in the slums as an ordinary is no simple task, and Peyton knows this better than most. Having been trained by her father to be overly observant since she was a child, Peyton poses as a psychic in the crowded city, blending in with the elites as best she can in order to stay alive and out of trouble. Easier said than done. When Peyton unsuspectedly saves one of the Isla's princes, she finds herself thrown in the purging trials. The brutal competition exists to showcase the elite's powers, the very thing Peyton lacks. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, Prince she's fighting feelings for certainly will if he discovers what she is, completely ordinary. Sounds interesting. And then also in Liv's Patreon, we're continuing in our Hunger Games read-along. So we have our movie night actually for the first Hunger Games this Friday. And so then I will be reading Catching Fire in February for that. Okay, and then the next ones I'm going to talk about are book club picks. Most of these, actually all of these, I do not have physically. I'm not planning on getting them physically, only because I'm trying to avoid buying a bunch of books because I want to read so many of the book club picks, but I also don't want to purchase like five extra books that I may or may not like them. So I'm going to be picky about, unless it's a book that's coming in my book of the month club pick or something, I probably am going to get these, try and get them from the library or on my Kindle or audio, something like that. So the first one I'm going to talk about is my in-person book club. We are going to be reading The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I have only read one other Ruth Ware book, and that was It Girl, and it was just okay. It was a 3-star read for me. So a little synopsis. This synopsis is really long, so I'm going to see if I can just like skim this. When she stumbles across the ad, she's looking for something else completely. But it seems too good an opportunity to miss a live-in nanny post with a staggeringly generous salary. Let's see, fit with modern conveniences. So she's going to be a nanny. What she doesn't know is that she's stepping into a nightmare, one that will end with a child dead and herself in prison awaiting trial for murder. Okay. Let's see, writing to her lawyer from prison, she struggles to explain the unraveling events that led to her incarceration. It wasn't just the constant surveillance from the cameras installed around the house or the malfunctioning technology that woke the household with booming music or turned the lights off at the worst possible time. It wasn't just the girls who turned out to be a far cry from immaculately behaved model children she met at her interview. So it seems like it's going to go through like what happened. She's watching these children, and obviously someone gets killed, and she's got to figure out who did it because it wasn't her. The next one I am going to talk about is For the Sleep When I'm Dead book club with Jess at Reading with Jess. I've mentioned her before. I will link her information. We are going to be reading The Clinic by Kate Quinn, and I also don't have this. From the critically acclaimed author of Black Widows comes a thriller set in a remote rehab clinic on the Pacific Northwest coast, in which the death of a woman inside prompts her sister to enter the clinic as a patient in order to find the truth. It sounds like her sister goes into a rehab facility, ends up dying. They say she committed suicide. Her sister doesn't believe that. So then her sister takes it upon herself to put herself into this clinic to figure out what happened to her sister in this clinic. Shady stuff going down. The next book club pick I am going to read is for Gabby at Gabby Reads for the book troupe. This is open to anyone. It's called The Reformatory by, I am going to butcher this name, Tananarive Du. I don't know if that's right or not. I apologize if it's not. Anyway, this is a long synopsis too. Like these synopsis, like why do we need this much information? Sometimes less is more. Less is more. I'm going to try and skim this as well. Let's see. It is a gripping page-turning novel set in Jim Crow, Florida. It follows Robert Stevens Jr. as he's sent to a segregated reform school that is a chamber of terrors where he sees the horrors of racism and injustice for the living and the dead. He's sentenced to 6 months at Gracetown School of Boys, a reformatory, for kicking the son of the largest landowner in town in defense of his older sister, Gloria. Robbie has a talent for seeing ghosts, but what was once a comfort to him after the loss of his mother has become a window to the truth of what happens at the reformatory. Boys forced to work to remediate their so-called crimes have gone missing, but the hints Robbie sees hint at worse things. Through his friends, Robbie is learning not just the rules, but how to survive. Meanwhile, Gloria is rallying every family member and connection in Florida to find a way to get Robbie out before it's too late. Another one that I may try to get to, I don't know if I'm going to or not, depends on, because I got a lot of books. February's ambitious. So that is for the Lights Out book club. That is with Sav from Riveting Reads. I have done some of her, she does horror reading book clubs. So this one for this month, they are reading This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer. So it is, let's see, 4 ambitious climbers hike into the Kentucky wilderness. 7 months later, 3 mangled bodies are discovered. Were their deaths simple accidents or the result of something more sinister? That's all I'm going to tell you. This is also a long synopsis, but again, less is more sometimes, and that's sometimes all I need to know going into a book. Like I don't want to know even a movie. Sometimes I see like movie trailers, I'm like, why did they need to, like, they literally just showed us the whole movie in the trailer. I don't need to watch it now. I know what's going to happen. Like, so sometimes just pique my interest and let me go from there. So if I have time, I want to read that. We will see. So all of those book clubs that I mentioned, the Sleep When I'm Dead, Lights Out, Book Troop, those are all available to anybody. I will link their descriptions below if you would like to join in with any of those. Those are more thriller horror books, usually every month. And then I'm going to continue in my Sarah J. Maas read along with Chloe. I will link that below as well. I mentioned that in my January TBR. So I read Throne of Glass. It was my very first Sarah J. Maas last month. I loved it. Continuing in the series. I have not got to Assassin's Blade yet. I did want to read that to see if I prefer reading it before or after. So I do still need to get to Assassin's Blade. This is already a chunker. But it's also 4 stories in it, so I don't have to read it like, you know, continually, I don't think. 436 pages. But then for February, we are reading Crown of Midnight, and I am looking forward to continuing. This has 418 pages, and they only get thicker as we go along. So I'm definitely reading this in February. And I want to make sure I get it read. So Assassin's Blade may or may not just have to, you know, fall in line where everybody else is reading it. I don't know. And I do plan on vlogging all of my reads for the Throne of Glass series. So, and then the last thing I want to talk about for February that I plan on reading is my first, try the first in a series, Cozy Mystery. So I'm going to read 3 books. I did a big Cozy Mystery bookshelf tour. Go check that out if you haven't seen it and you're interested in cozies. So I'm doing a little mini series, so I'm going to do a bunch of different mini vlogs reading the first in a series. So for this month, since it is February, I decided to go with a chocolate themed reading vlog. These have recipes in them. I do make a good fudge, but it's an easy fudge and it always turns out right. But chocolates, I don't know how I'm going to do with chocolates. I love to bake, I can cook, but candy, I don't know. Anyway, there are some recipes in these, not a lot though, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I would like to make a recipe from at least one of these books. If I could find one that's easy enough that I could do. I'm not going to give the synopsis of these because I have all of these synopsis in my Cozy Mystery vlog, so go there and check that out. So the first one I'm going to do is Death is Like a Box of Chocolates by Kathy Aarons. This is a chocolate covered mystery. I'm going to do All Fudged Up by Nancy Coco. This is a candy coated mystery. And I'm going to do First Degree Fudge by Christine Desmet. This is a fudge shop mystery. So, you know, Valentine's, chocolates, kind of goes with the theme of the month. So I'm going to do that for my first mini series, reading those. So that, my friends, is my very ambitious February TBR. So are any of these books on your list? Have you read any of these books? Are you planning on reading any of them? Are they any of these on your radar? Tell me all your thoughts in the comments below. And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind. Bye.